careful who you call your friends because fear spreads faster than you think. For the longest time, I've struggled with my friendships, and I'm going to be super vulnerable in this video about friendships and how I have struggled for the longest time. And I just want you to know that you're not alone in this. There's a lot of men and women out there who struggle. I'm going to share with you actually, after I went through my separation, I had such a different way of looking at life. My viewpoints changed, my mindset changed. I was a completely different human being. And I found it really difficult, just being brutally honest, to connect with the people that I did in my past, because I couldn't resonate with them anymore. I couldn't relate to them anymore. And it's not to say that I'm better than them or anything like that. But with those people that were from my past, I couldn't be my true authentic self. So when I wanted to speak about things that I really love to speak about, which I would love for my friends to talk about as well, things that are a little bit deeper, they would hesitate and they wouldn't want to talk about it. And they wanted to talk about things that I didn't truly care about. Along with this new version of me that I was still trying to figure out and still am, I lost a lot of people in my life because I started valuing different things in my life. I started seeing people for who they are in a sense, and not in a judgmental way, but I just knew what was good for me and what was not good for me. I could just see that a little bit more clearly than I could have. And as I've mentioned in the past, I was a huge people pleaser. So basically, I would be a yes woman. And I distinctively remember during high school, I was at this dinner with a bunch of people that I was friends with, and I was friends with them for a very long time. And I remember being in that friend group, and again, no shade to anybody. This is literally just my story, my experience, and I love everybody that I'm talking about. Like, there's no hate or no animosity. It's just all love. But it's also about figuring out your alignment in this lifetime and also your inner voice, listening to your intuition. So I remember being in this friend group, and I think I made a joke, obviously it was a long time ago, but I remember making a joke about something that was really silly. And I have a bit of a dark humor, and that's just what, that's just what makes me laugh. And that's what that's just what I do. And so I remember one of the girls in that group gave me a look and she said, don't say that again. That was not appropriate or something like that. And I just felt so out of alignment with that group. I just did not connect with people. And that is the first time for me where I felt like this isn't for me. Like I had this knowing where I was like, oh, this isn't right, And of course, I kept on continuing, as we all do. We have a little thought in our head and we just keep on doing the same shit over and over again. What I want to focus on in this video is friendships after you go through, something huge in your life, like a divorce or separation, or even losing somebody in your life, something that is traumatic, and it really does, part of your soul, it dies and it evolves and changes. And so we as human beings are no longer the same. As I mentioned before, I lost a lot of friendships that what the hell was that? I lost a lot of people after that experience. And I always talk about this, and this is obviously, it comes with a new mindset, which is you don't really lose people, but it's making room and making space for the people that are actually meant to be in your life. And sometimes not everybody is meant to stay in your life forever. Sometimes they're meant to be in your life for a season and then they leave, and that is okay. And we need to just, come to terms with that. And I definitely had to learn that myself. After going through a separation, becoming a mother, and also working, on being an entrepreneur, I realized my time is so valuable. It's so precious. It doesn't come back again. And I also realized that the friendships that I had in the past were more on the superficial side, right? So I couldn't really be my authentic self. And when I'm unable to be my authentic self, that is when I shrink and I become small, and I'm just existing in friendships. And that's just not what I want to do. And I know to a lot of people I might look like I am an extrovert, but in reality, I love to be by myself. I love it a little bit too much sometimes. It scares me how much I love to be by myself. And so I'm a bit of an introvert extrovert. Like I adapt to the situations in life. So, and instead of meeting men to go on dates with, I was like, I want to find my Gail. If for those of you who know, Oprah has her best friend Gail, and they're just like soulmates. And I was like, I want that. I want somebody where I can just connect with them on a deep level. I can do silly things with them. We can just be deep. And, it's just a mixture of different parts of your life that you're able to share with that person. And so I was on a hunt for my Gail. I can't believe I'm sharing this, but I have to be honest with you guys. So I actually went on this app. I forgot what it was called now, but anyways, it's an app where you find friends. It's so. But to be honest, there's so many people out there that are looking for great friends. And it's not, I thought it was just going to be me and like two other losers. I was like, but in reality, there's so many people out there that are open to this and they want to meet people. And I love that, especially when you're, you become a mom and you have kids, you realize a lot of the friends that you end up getting are friends from your kids' school because you do a lot of play dates. And so you don't really have those one-on-one, connections because you're just spending time with the kids. Anywho's, so I went on this app and I met a girl, and this girl has inspired this story, to be honest. And by the way, again, no judgment. This is just my experience and what I want to share with you guys, right? So I met this girl and we went for breakfast, and she was so beautiful, to be honest. Like I was like, wow, you're beautiful. And she was funny. She was smart. She was just great, to be honest. And I was like, wow, this is great. I met somebody so fast. And it literally feels like I'm talking about a man, but I'm talking about a friend. And one thing you guys need to know is that when you go through a spiritual awakening or you go through a dark night of the soul or whatever it is, it's like you start seeing things that you didn't before. It's almost like a curse sometimes because you get to see all the work that people need to do. And it's not that I judge everybody and I'm critical of everyone, but I'm all really just looking for that one or two, that soul connection where it's like, you just get me, I get you. We don't even need to talk sometimes. It's just telepathic communication, Anywho, so I met this girl and she was just amazing. And as I got to know her a little bit, she was talking about how she is afraid to go on walks, on hikes, because she's afraid that a man is going to come and attack her. And so I was like, what do you mean? Like, I was interested and intrigued. What do you mean by that? Why would a man come and attack you? Because I go on a lot of hikes and I've never once had that thought. I've seen a coyote once and I had some scary thoughts about that coyote. The coyote chasing me, but obviously none of that happened. Why do you have this specific fear? And if you guys know me and if you've ever met me, you know that I'm not going to be okay with your answers. I'm going to ask you deep questions and I'm almost like, a mini psychologist. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just love unraveling people. And so anyways, she was telling me about this, and then she ended up connecting that with her father that was not there for her, and that maybe had something to do with her having a fear of men. She was mentioning how she went to a grocery store and this man wanted to attack her. And anyway, so I could see that this is a real fear. Like, she's not just telling me, like this one time. This is a fear that she has. And I could sense that from her. And also another thing about me, if you guys probably know this, but I am a fixer. Like, I like to be friends with people that are not doing that well, or they need somebody to vent to. Like, I'm that person that will be with you, that will look after you, that will fix you, take care of you. And so I had to realize, oh my God, this is a pattern of mine. I like this. I like to sit with people that are a bit broken. And again, we all are a bit broken. We all, have work to do, and I get that. But I could just see myself getting into this. This is what I did differently this time, because as you guys know, I'm a people pleaser. If I see somebody, I want to help you, I want to care, look after you, love you, everything. And I realized that I need to be selfish right now. Like, this is where I get to be selfish, and I get to choose who the hell I'm friends with. And a lot of things that she was mentioning, apart from these fears that she was having, just wasn't in alignment. And I realized that this is going to be one of those my other relationships where I want to help her. And another thing that happens in these type of relationships with me personally, and I don't know if you can resonate with this, is that I tend to not ask for help when I really need it. And these kind of relationships consume me, where I forget about myself and I'm just focused on that person. And so again, this is the work that I need to do. This is the work that we all need to do. But something about her just did not gel with me. It just didn't connect with me, even though I back in the day, a couple years back, I would be great friends with her, and, I would sit there and talk to her all day long. Just knowing how precious my time is and what I'm really looking for. I'm looking for my best friend, somebody who is aware of their fears, because everybody has, we have our fears, but also recognizing that a lot of your fears are created by your mind. I wanted to make 2 points in this video, and I feel like I've gone too far out, but I'm still going to mention them. So the first thing that I wanted to say is that the people around you shape how you see the world. And if you're constantly around people who think that something bad is always going to happen, that the world is dangerous, or people are out to get me, or something bad is going to constantly happen, then what happens is that this then influences how you see the world. And you start feeling it because energy spreads. And I realize this because I've been raised by a mommy who had and still has a lot of anxiety issues, and she struggles with a lot of fears, and a lot of her fears hooked onto me, and a lot of my mom's fears hooked onto me. And it took me a long time to heal that and to realize that the world is actually a very safe place. I know it's really difficult for people to recognize that, but it's just honestly how you perceive the world. I'll give you a little example. So back in the day when I would be driving and somebody wouldn't give me away, that is when I would realize how selfish and how horrible people are. But now I see the world in a very different way, and I make a lot of mistakes all day long, but I know that I am so much better, just the way that I respond and react to things. Now when I'm in my car, the first thought that I say to myself is that people are so kind, people are so nice, people are always giving me away, and they're always there to help me out whenever I need help, and the world is so safe to be in. I always say this to myself, and every time I'm out, somebody gives me the way. And after working on this for a long time, I also see the drivers and also people that I'm connected to. They'll be driving and somebody doesn't give them the way, and they're honking and this whole thing, and they have the middle finger comes up, or they're starting to have an argument in the middle of the freeway or whatever. And so I really believe that your consciousness has a lot to do with this. What you're telling yourself, what you truly believe in, it's going to be projected out there. And also, if you're somebody who's constantly watching negative, fear-based news, TikTok videos, YouTube shorts, whatever, it gets absorbed into you, and that is when you become a little bit more reactive. You get a little bit more tense. Your body starts aching a little bit. I'm not a doctor, but this is just what I've noticed with myself and people that I worked with. And if you're married to somebody like this, you're in a relationship, friendship with somebody who is constantly in fear, then what happens is that it's not going to be immediate, but slowly you start seeing the world through their fear. Quick note, this isn't about cutting people clean off, because we literally will have no friends or relationships. This is about creating boundaries and really understanding yourself, and also working on protecting your energy. There's a lot of different meditations, things that you can do to protect yourself and also cleanse your body at the end of the day. The second point that I wanted to make is that your friends influence your nervous system. So let's say you have a friend who's constantly anxious. She's constantly suspicious of people. She's constantly stressed out. Then what happens is then your body starts living in that too. But if you spend time around people who are grounded, who are calm, who are secure, again, they're not perfect. They make mistakes all day long, but they work on this, or they really just are calm and secure. And that enables your body to learn that the world can be safe too. It's not as dangerous as you thought it was. And that is why you need to be careful around who you allow into your space, into your energetic field. And so I want you to ask yourself this question today. Are the people around you expanding your life, or are they shrinking it? Ask yourself that, journal about it, think about it. And I just hope this video helped in any way, because I know a lot of us are struggling with friendships. I love you guys, and I will see you guys on the next one.